Hello friends, it's Stamp Ventures with Shauna, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, Canada. Welcome to my Tuesday tutorial on, let's see, what is it? Tuesday, October 3rd at 9 p.m. Mountain Time or 9 p.m. Saskatchewan time. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe that it is October. I'm not really sure how that happened. Today I'm here to show you a fast and easy way to make Christmas cards. We'll be stamping one 8.5 by 11 sheet and turn it into 5 Christmas cards. So get started with that in just a moment. First of all, we have to give homage, however you say that, to the chair, the hard-working chair that carries or holds our laundry that's holds the clothes that's too clean for the laundry and too dirty for the closet. I don't know why I was having trouble getting that out. Oh my goodness. Okay. And maybe it's because, I was trying to get so many things done today, including, another 3 loads of laundry, trying to get caught up here. I don't think I'll ever get caught up. I think that's just the way it's going to be. Okay, let's see. Just pulling up my iPad here to see if anybody has been able to find the video tonight. If you found it, give a shout, say hello. Tell me what the weather's like in your part of the world. I've got a weather report for you today here from Moose Jaw. Hello, Brenda. Hi there. So, today's weather is blowing and leafy. It was a little coolish at times. I think the sun did break out there a bit, but mostly cloudy, blowing and leafy. And today's weather is brought to you by the Autumn Leaves Stamp Set. Beautiful leaves and veins to go to 2-step stamp with them, and some beautiful samples in our September through December mini catalog. So, okay, let's see if anybody else has joined us here. Hello, Melanie. Yeah, it's chilly, crisp autumn day there. I was noticing that some people in Ontario are having really a warm day, like wearing shorts kind of day. So that's kind of crazy, isn't it? I guess sometimes the cool weather is kind of nice too, as long as it doesn't get too cold too fast. I like to ease into things. So today I'm going to be doing 5 cards at a time. Some of the gals on my team already got to see a demonstration of this this past weekend. My team and the team of, about 7 or 8 other, maybe even 9 other demonstrators across Canada joined together for a sharing day of ideas. We called it our super team event, and one of the gals demonstrated this, and I'm like, I have to get caught up on my Christmas cards, doing my 12 months of Christmas and make a bunch more. I've got quite a nice stack of them now. Let's see if I can reach them down here. I'll just show you. I've been going along all year making Christmas cards, and some people have followed my 12 months of Christmas. And I'm getting a nice stack of them. Look at that. Woo, go me. But I still have more to do. And I mean, here we are, October. So I'm going to try this fast and easy approach to doing 5 cards at a time. Basically, all you need is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. And I could, I'm going to stamp on this sheet, but I need some lines to indicate where I need to stamp. And these panels for my cards are all 4 3/4 by 3.5 inches. And as you can see, if you put 3 this way and 2 that way, you get all 5 cards on one sheet. It's kind of like a one-sheet wonder. And so to mark the lines, I think I've seen some people who score their paper at these dimensions, but I'm a little bit leery of doing that because after you're done stamping, you have to cut it apart. And I think sometimes once you've scored, then your cutting blade, it kind of gets a little shaggy and wispy along the edges there. So I'm just going to mark with a pencil. And my friend Tamara, who did this for our super team event, showed us how you could use your paper trimmer and a pencil to mark the dimensions. And if you have a mechanical pencil, it's really cool because you can actually just mark it right through the center here. The pencil lead will reach. But if you just have a regular pencil, then you're going to need a ruler. So I'm going to mark the first line with a ruler and a regular pencil, and then I'll mark the others with the mechanical pencil so you can see how it works. So to begin with, I'm going to turn this upside down because I think I'm going to start making this column right here. So from here to this line is 3.5 inches. So I'm going to put my edge of my paper at the 3 plus a half inch mark there. And I'm going to mark with my pencil. This first time I'll show you how I do it when I used a ruler. Just going to lay the ruler right along the edge. I can even take and set my pencil like right into the cutting slot there to see how close I am. Yeah, there, I think I've found it. And I'm just going to mark the pencil line like that. Now, it should be done fairly lightly. I'm making this pencil line a little bit heavier, so hopefully it'll show up a bit better on the screen for you. But you can do it lightly, so then you don't have to worry about doing too much erasing at the end. I've got my handy dandy white eraser ready to do the erasing if I need to. Okay, so that's that first column. And then I'm going to make another column which is wider. It's going to be 4 3/4. So I'm going to extend my arm on my paper trimmer. I'm running out of room here. I've got too much stuff hanging around. So 3.5 inches. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4 3/4 inches more brings it to 8 1/4. So way over here now, my paper is at 8 1/4 inches. Or you could just do it the easy peasy way and find this 1/4 inch mark. You're just going to trim, like it'll end up being a 1/4 inch off the edge, this long edge of the paper here. Now, let's see if my mechanical pencil is going to be long enough to reach in there. Yes, it is. Oh, that's so brilliant. The mechanical pencil works really well to mark that. All right, now I'm going to be turning my paper this way. And so this is 3.5 inches wide. So now I am going to do 4 3/4. You know, we'll just keep going with this. 4 3/4 right along there. So from there to there, it's 4 3/4. And oh my goodness, it's kind of getting a little bumpy something along there. It's bumpy lump. Oh well, it'll get. And then what's 4 3/4? I have to do math here with fractions. 4 3/4 plus 4 3/4 is 9 1/2. So all the way out here, 9 1/2. And find the center and mark. There we go. So we've got 2 card panels there. This piece will not be used. That's this piece here. I'm not, oh, there goes my lead. Oh, I pressed too hard. Hopefully, yeah, there's still some in there. I'm not going to mark that on here because that's a perfect piece to go into my scrap drawer and use for a layer for something else. Now I've got to do some more lines down here, and these ones are going to be 3 1/2, 3 1/2, and 3 1/2. So I'm going to start back here again. 3 1/2, and I feel like you probably can't see the bottom of my trimmer very well, but there, I'm going to start at the bottom and stop when I get to the line that goes across there. So that's 3.5. And then another 3.5, we're doing that math again, is 7. So move that out to 7. The 7-inch mark out there. Start at the bottom and mark that. And then 7 plus 3.5 is 10.5. And mark that there. Okay, and we're done with the trimmer for now. We will eventually cut these up, but we're going to stamp first. So do all the stamping at once and then cut it apart. And so I'll put it not too far away. So I've pulled out for today's Christmas cards, I'm going to be using the Christmas Classics stamp set. And the way this works is I'm going to be stamping along the lines, this very center line. You can kind of ignore this little line over here. This little tiny piece along the edge is just going to get tossed. But these others, you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 card fronts. And the stamping that I'll be doing is all along the lines, maybe not quite to the very bottom, but and the stamping is going to, well, you'll see how it's going to smoosh over into the various cards various card fronts that I'm creating, and then when it's cut apart, that's kind of how the magic happens with this. Then you get your individual pieces, and you see how this sort of like a scattered stamping works. So I'm going to be mostly using this Christmas tree branch. I'm going to put my foam mat there, and there we go. I turn it this way. My grid sheet, because I know I'm going to be going off the edge a little. And to make it a little bit more interesting, I'm going to use 2 different kinds of greens. So I noticed in the mini catalog where they have this stamp set, and do I know the page off the top of my head? No, I don't. Okay, there's the stamp set that I'm using. It's on page 31. But I liked, there, right here. They made it look just like a Christmas tree, just using that one stamp. And I can tell they've used at least 2 different kinds of green. So that's what I've done, is I've grabbed 2 different kinds of green, and I'm going to be layering those Christmas tree branches. And I'll get started. So shaded spruce I'm going to start with first. I think I'm going to switch to old olive after, and then I'm going to go back to shaded spruce just to fill in. This is kind of one of those things where you go back and you can add a little bit more and make it a little bit thicker. And so I'm going kind of along the line, not following it perfectly. I want the branches to, scatter out a little bit. And depending on how much imagery you want on your cards, you might even stamp more than I do or less than I do. So I'm going to do a little bit of stamping down these edges here as well. Now, my friend who demonstrated this 5-in-1 technique on the past weekend, she didn't stamp down at the edges like that so much. I mean, she might have done it a little bit, but not very much, where I'm deliberately doing it. And so, yeah, you can decide if you like it, filled in a bit like that, or maybe you don't. It might be too much for your tastes. So I'm not going to bother there or there. I'm just going to do those 1, 2, 3 middle. This card, you can see this card right here, it's going to have like pine branches on all 3 sides of it. These other cards are going to have like pine branches on 2 of them. So I'll put this away for a sec, and we'll switch to the old olive. And I better give my block, not only my stamp, but my block a clean as well. I really shaded spruced it up. Oh my goodness. Okay, so, okay, here we go and I'm going to be stamping my pine branches or pine boughs always in the same direction, because that looks more natural, I think. And you can see I'm overlapping a lot. I'm not like moving it completely over to make a totally new, totally separate image. Doing lots of overlapping, and that's what I discovered when I started making these cards. The first time I tried this technique using this pine branch, I had my branches too far apart, and they looked kind of weird. It looked too scattered, where it looks so much more authentic when when they're overlapping, just like in that sample that's in the catalog. So then I'll turn it sideways and I'll go a little bit like that. Oh, I think there we go. I stamped off the edge of my foam mat. Beware of where the foam mat may lie. You can kind of tell if it looks like there's too much of one color, you can go in and add more of another. Okie doke. And now, let's see. Go in. I'm going to kind of do a little bit in those corners there. I think I stamped that one in the wrong direction. Oh well. And I'll go back and add just a little bit more of the shaded spruce. And I'll just take a quick look. Okay, we've got a few more hellos there. You heard the S word is coming, Melanie. I know. I do not like the S word. Oh, Brenda, you heard that too. Darn the S word. Hi, Pam. Happy fall. Yes, it's probably happier in your part of the world. Oh, and thank you very, very much for sharing, Pam. I really appreciate that. And hello, Heather. Can't find the closed captioning. Oh boy. And I'm not I wonder why. Does it show up most of the time? Maybe it's something I need to turn on from my end. I should probably look that up. Okay, and hello, Glenda. Okay, so I'm going back just to add a little bit more of the spruce. Just a little bit of that color and layer those branches even a bit more. They kind of look like bushy tails a little bit, don't they? Okay, make sure that I stamp on the foamy mat underneath there. Maybe go a little bit along, because that's going to be a corner of a card, and this will be a corner of a card. There. Oops. Try not to get my paper into the ink. Maybe one more there. Okay. You know, when I was watching my friend Tamara do this, her recommendation was a lighter touch, or, not overdoing it is better than doing it too much. So maybe I better stop right there. Just give this a minute to dry. I can always go in after and add more detail, but I can't take away. So the other thing I'm going to do is just add some red berries in amongst boughs. And I don't know if you can still see, I'll go back to, I'll turn it like this. So there's 1 card, 2 cards, 3, 4, 5. And so I'm just going to throw a few berries into each. Maybe I'll take this foam mat away here so that I don't hit the edge of it. 1, 2, 3. You can see I like turning my stamp. Oh, that was interesting. I didn't get all 3 of the berries. So just to change it up. That'll be interesting to see. I kind of made those berries pop out a little bit. I should maybe tuck them a bit more into the greenery. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I think all the cards have 3 berries. I can go back and add more berries if I feel the need. Now comes the surgery part. We're going to cut it all apart and create it into cards. And this is kind of neat once you start cutting it into pieces and you see how it all works out. I'm going to turn this back. I know for sure that I can't hardly even see. I don't even think I'll be needing my eraser because I've stamped so much in there. Well, maybe a little bit. I can kind of see a little bit there. I know that that first line is going to be 3.5 inches. But yeah, I don't think too many people will be able to see it. So there's my 3.5 inch mark. And there we go. And I might as well take off this little strip at the end. It's not needed at all. And this should be, yeah, this is at 4 3/4. So we can say sayonara to that piece. And now it's 4 3/4 this way, so that means it's going to be 3.5, 3.5, 3.5. And I'll take off this little bit at this edge here. I don't think I'll do much with that either. That can be recycled. So 3.5. And how much do I? Okay, yeah. Again, there's not much with this branch, and you really doing all the layers. You really can't see the pencil in there too much. So, oh, look at that! There's one panel for the first card. Okay, and here's 3.5 inches more. Here's the second panel. And as you can see, this is the one that's going to have lots of branches around it. And you may or may not choose to do that depending on how much you want for branches in yours. And that one, I already took that side piece off. So there's 3 layers for our 5 at a time cards. And then there's this one, and we'll be cutting in the long way. I'll cut this end off, and I'll even cut it so that like take the pencil right off and don't have to worry about going in and erase that. And there is a little bit of a piece there that I can still use. What stamp set is this? Ah, yeah, good question. This is called Christmas Classics on page 31 of the mini. And that's what I've been using. And there's the berries. And then I'm going to use some of these greetings. So 4 3/4 is there. Oh, I almost went 4.5. Whew. Oh, yeah, you're welcome, Pam. Okay. There we go. All right. Now, we're going to layer these pieces onto, my berries were real red, so I'm going to layer them onto a real red layer that's only 1/8 of an inch bigger. And there's kind of something cool about the 1/8 of an inch bigger, because in the one direction, it uses the paper almost perfectly. And you know how that makes me very happy and excited when it uses the paper very well. So I'm going to go 3.5 inches, and then I'm going to add 1/8 of an inch, which is like 2 little lines over, or in the words of my friend Tamara, 3.5 inches plus 2 ticks. That's 1/8 of an inch. And if I did this correctly, I'm trying to remember now, I think this is what, 3 5/8. What should be left is 4 7/8. Yeah, so this is going to be the size that we need, 4 3/4 plus 2 more little lines that way. So then this is 4 3/4. So we want this 4 3/4 plus 2 little lines over to get that extra 1/8 of an inch. 4 3/4 plus 2 extra little lines. It's almost 5. It's just 2 lines short. You know what? If you've got the paper trimmer from Stampin' Up! Like I do, I find when I hit that 4 3/4 plus 1/8 of an inch, the 2 ticks, my paper butts right up against this this plastic border, and it stops it right there. So it's kind of got a built-in little stopper for me. So there's 2 layers. Okay, so this is already the 4 3/4. So these are going to be the 3.5, 3.5, 3.5, but just that 1/8 of an inch bigger. So 1/8 of an inch, 2 little lines over, 3.5 plus 2 little lines over. Sometimes I make it just a smidge wider to make sure I'm going to be getting enough red showing. 3.5 plus 2 little lines over. Yeah, sometimes I'm generous with my 1/8 of an inch so that I make sure I get a good red edge showing. All right, and I've already prepared card bases. I've got a bunch of them here. So I won't put all 5 of these together. Actually, I've got some cards that are already made, and I'll show you some variations that I did, but I'll put one of them together just so you get the idea. You can turn them around, and depending on which way you like the foliage to be going, you can have it, up and down, you can have it side to side, you can have it going across the side and the top, or you can have it going, across the bottom and the side. It's up to you, depending on what look you're wanting. And I'll just pull back in my foam mat. And with the Christmas classics here, there's some great sayings, like the Peace on Earth and the Deck the Halls are nice and big, and they fit fairly well into that space. So I'm just going to grab one of those right now to stamp a greeting. And if you're in a hurry, you can, stamp all 5. Peace on earth, peace on earth, peace on earth. And you can really, for the most part, it's just quite a nice card, just the way it is. Oh, I want my peace on earth somewhat straight. Just like that. Boom. Okay. And like I said, keep going, stamp all the greetings, and then you're going to just put all the 5 layers together, and instantly you will have 10 cards. But I will show you in a minute some variations that I did on this just to step it up a bit. You can add things to dress it up. If you've got somebody like great Aunt Ina who's very special, and you want to send her like a card that's not just the quick ones, but one that she might be very special to you, and you want to make sure it's something that she'll proudly display and say, oh, my niece made this. If you want to keep your cards as flat as possible, because maybe you've got like a big letter that's going to go in the inside, then you might want to just glue it flat, or you have the option of using dimensionals. Okay, so in a pinch, this is how the cards work, but I'll show you a couple other samples that I made earlier. So really, by the end of the night here, I will have 10 Christmas cards ready to go and add to my pile of cards. Okay, there we go. Peace on earth, just like that. So here's from when I was doing this earlier. Some that were already a batch of 5 that are already glued together. And the first one, I just did it just like I showed you. Oh, look, there's a little fly. I don't know what it is, a fruit fly or something. Go away. But just basically basic, nothing special added on. And when I was doing this sample, I was throwing my berries in the big sheet, but if you're more confident, like going back and adding the berries later, you can do that too. Okay, so here it is, Deck the Halls. This one I decided to do vertically. So there's another option. And then, let's see, I'll move this out of the road here. Then I thought, okay, I'll step it up a little, and I'll throw some bling into the Christmas tree. So I don't know, I put in about 5 rhinestones in there. I don't know if you need it or not, but it does kind of make the tree sparkly. Well, if it's a tree or a swag, I'm not really sure what it is. Some kind of pine needle ornament for the holidays. And then I'm like, okay, this one that's got like pine boughs, pine branches on all three sides, I think it could use something a little bit more to it. So I put a ribbon across, and I did my fake ribbon where I just, taped it at each end, and then I tied a bow in the air and stuck that on with a glue dot. And then finally, this last one, I'm like, okay, we can do other things too. We can add in a second color. So I pulled in the shaded spruce, which was the darker of the branches, and I stamped Peace on Earth on the 2 3/8-inch circle that I had punched out. Just folded a piece of red ribbon from my stash in behind. I threw some of our iridescent pearls on there. Maybe I should hold this closer. And then you see the little holly leaves. So I stamped a couple of those. That's where that came from. But when you stamp them, it seems, I don't know, they seemed kind of naked because it's just the outline of the holly leaf that you get. So I grabbed, where is it? My Wink of Stella brush. And because shaded spruce is such a deep color, when you color over with the Wink of Stella, it causes the ink to bleed. So then I've got these lightly shaded spruce holly leaves in there. So yeah, you can see that they're not plain white anymore. They're glittery and have a light shaded spruce. So yeah, quick way and great use of paper to make Christmas cards like this. But it's not just for Christmas. So I'll quickly pull out, I'll quickly show you here another set of cards that I made that are more along the lines of, well, I've been needing sympathy cards and things like that lately. And I thought, wow, well, if I'm going to make sympathy cards, this is a great way to make a bunch and have some ready to go. So I used the translucent floral stamp set, and along the lines, I stamped this branch. And then I went back in and I added this branch, and then I added this little blossom. And the colors that I used were kind of a favorite combination of mine. This is the gray granite. So gray granite full strength. This littler branch was gray granite half strength, so stamped off. And then the little flower, the tiny little blossom, what I did was, where is my stamp set here, my stamp here? I inked it up fully in petal pink. I really love that soft, it's like a salmon color. And then while there was still petal pink on it, I inked up this sponge dauber in Flirty Flamingo, and I just touched this pointy end of the blossom, so you can tell that this is just like I got a little bit deeper color at that pointy end. And so yeah, I had to do, every time I stamped it, I kind of cleaned it off quickly, stamped it, where did I set my stamp now? Anyways, there it is. I stamped it in the petal pink, inked this up, put a tiny bit of flamingo, stamped it, and repeated. Quickly cleaned it, stamped, re-inked in petal, then added a touch of Flirty Flamingo and stamped it on my card again, or on my one sheet wonder. So, and yeah, so again, I was trying to show you, you can do it simple, basic, with not even any embellishments, or you could add some iridescent pearls or some rhinestones. I'm not sure if I like all of these, but it gives you an idea, and then you can change out the color of the card base. And this one has our iridescent ribbon from the September to December mini catalog, which on hindsight, with this iridescent ribbon and these iridescent rhinestones, I'm like, maybe this is more, I don't know, like maybe this could be more for like an anniversary or wedding card. I might want to maybe glue a different sentiment over that. I'm still thinking on that. It's maybe a little bit shiny for thinking of you. I don't know. But it was fun to work with different colors using this 5-in-1 technique, and try different embellishments as well. So I hope you like the idea of doing 5-in-1 cards, and I hope that it can help you to really get going on your Christmas cards if you're wanting to get some done. And doesn't necessarily mean that every single card or every person that you send to has to be a homemade card, but you might be able to, 5 people off your list right there that you can send them a homemade card. So I'm just going to go back here and take one quick look. Oh, thanks so much, Tracy. I'm glad you like the idea. And I know there's tons of ladies out there that have done this and done videos. So, if you want to get more ideas, take a look. But I think the fun thing with this idea too is just pulling out your stamp sets and looking at what you have and trying it. And then it's like magic. When you start cutting those pieces apart, you see how they all turn into cards, and pretty quick and simple. So I wish you a very good week. I think we've got Thanksgiving coming up this weekend. I'm kind of excited because we're going to be spending Thanksgiving with my son out in Victoria. So very happy for that. And I wish all of you a very, very good Thanksgiving. Lots of time spent with people you love, and maybe some good food in there too. And I think I'm going to still be in Victoria next Tuesday. So if I happen to be live, it won't be my typical live, but at some point in there, I know I'll probably touch base with you all. Take care, everyone. Have a great week. Bye for now.